Hello, everybody. This is a Scoob of coffee with me, Coffee with Cartoons, and my older brother, Charles. Charles, would you like to say hi to the audience?
No.
Today, me and Charles will be talking about the fifth straight-to-DVD movie, and that is Scooby Doo and the Curse of the Vampire. Wait, the Legend of the Vampire?
I think it's the legend.
Scooby Doo and the Legend of the Vampire. Came out in 2002. It was the first movie to switch to the What's New Scooby Doo animation style.
Both old clothes.
But they did stick with the old clothes.
So when did this What's New Scooby Doo
outfits.
come out?
What's New Scooby Doo came out in 2003.
Oh, so you're saying that they have the style in this movie, the drawings, from the 2003 series.
Yeah.
Is that right? And in the What's New Scooby Doo series, do they have the new clothes or the old
In the
clothes?
What's New Scooby Doo series, they have the new clothes.
I see. Okay.
Fred has a sweater, and Daphne has like the slip dress.
Slip dress.
I don't expect you to understand.
She looks like she's wearing pajamas, honestly.
A little bit. This movie was directed by Scott Gerald, who you might know from his credits on Static Shock, The Secret Saturdays, Freakazoid, as well as a few other Scooby-Doo movies, The Loch Ness Monster, Alien Invaders, and the What's New Scooby-Doo TV series.
I believe he also had a cameo on The Iron Giant.
Yeah, who was he on The Iron Giant?
He's a cameo. So.
Oh, he was a cameo. What did it... Do you know what a cameo is?
Yeah, it's when they cameo themselves.
Oh, he was himself in The Iron Giant.
I wouldn't... Yeah, it takes a really close eye to figure out where he is. It's kind of like a Where's Waldo, but...
It was directed by Mark Torres.
Yeah, pronounce the Z. Go ahead and do that. Yeah, go ahead and try to pronounce the S next to a Z. Good idea. I'm sure that's the correct pronunciation.
Mark Torres.
That's probably fine. That's way better than Torres.
Who was also a writer on Scooby-Doo, The Loch Ness Monster, the What's New Scooby-Doo TV series, and Scooby-Doo and Cyber Chase, but not much else.
So the writer... So is it a lead writer, or is it just one writer for the whole thing?
You know, on the Wikipedia, it just has him under writer.
So he has a short career, it looks like.
Yeah, it says written by.
So because he has a short career, we can already infer this movie was not good.
Yeah, his career short because movie bad. That's a good correlation.
It's true. Name something it doesn't fall into. Unless the author dies early, of course.
No, you're right. So first we'll be giving a short summary, then going over the mystery, then we'll talk about the gang, and then give our rating for the movie. So the gang went to Australia on a vacation, and then went to the Outback to watch a rock and roll concert, which was at a place called Vampire Rock. And at this place, the contestants are getting scared off because some of the ones that have been staying have been abducted by a giant monster known as the Yowie Yahoo and 3 flying vampires. The gang obviously sticks around to figure out the mystery, and it's like some big double twist where people are disguised and people who were lost in the mountains last year were actually just staying there so they could win the competition. We'll get into that more when we talk about the villains. And somewhere in there, the gang has to dress up as a band and pretend to be one to get kidnapped.
Which doesn't happen.
They don't get kidnapped. The Hex Girls get kidnapped. Band napped, my bad. On to the mystery. What was the mystery that needed solving? So we just talked about it. The mystery that needed solving was that there was big Yowie Yahoo, who, by the way, looks like an ape monster. Like, it's even described as like a bipedal ape monster on the wiki. But it's a vampire. And it's not based on any myth as far as I can tell. I looked it up.
You know, I always thought it was a very unique design for a vampire.
No, it's unique.
When I was younger, I was like, vampires are boring. There's going to be a boring one where the vampire is just like going blah, blah. But that's a pretty dope vampire. Pull up a picture of the blah, blah vampire from Twilight.
Blah, blah. No, I think you mean from Hotel Transylvania. Oh, you haven't watched those movies. You don't even get the joke.
I actually have seen Hotel Transylvania.
You have?
Unfortunately.
Why?
I don't know. I forgot why. Did you not make me watch it? Was it not you?
Maybe you were just in the room when I was watching it that one day.
That's the cartoon, right?
Yeah, it's the cartoon.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that. I don't know why.
So you know the part where he goes, I don't say blah,
right.
blah.
Yep.
You know, I like that movie. Hot take.
Does any vampire actually say blah blah blah, or is that just something we completely made up? Because I don't think.
Yeah, we made it up. It's not true.
Like, I mean, maybe if you watch the old film, maybe is there a Nosferatu film?
Yeah, he's from an old film. I've been told.
Isn't he from an old legend though first, or is he from a film first?
Yeah, maybe he's probably from an old legend and made into a film. That sounds like a natural progression.
Well, anyway, all right. Anyway, say what you will about the movie. At least I think the design for the vampire is fairly novel. Right.
I thought it was novel. I didn't think it was vampire-y enough. Who were the suspects? So we had Malcolm was the like old shaman guy.
He's like an indigenous Australian. He's supposed to be.
Yeah, Daniel, his son. They're both suspect enough. I mean, Daniel's running the show, so he doesn't really benefit from it getting shut down. Malcolm, though, doesn't want anyone there because he says it's like, you know, he believes in the vampire. He really thinks it's cursed, and he thinks everyone should go home and stop trying to do the rock concert. So he's a little suspicious. The Hex Girls were never really...
There are 3 of them, and there are 3 vampires.
Yeah, there are 3 of them and 3 vampires. We never really throw any light on the Hex Girls, though. No one, we're never like, ooh, that's a thing they could do. Oh, wait, no, the stage makeup.
They barely show up.
Yeah, they barely show up. They're more of a cameo music thing.
How big is this freaking festival, by the way? Because they came all the way from the U.S. to Australia.
Yeah.
To the Outback to do this music festival. By the way,
please.
people tried to kidnap people to win this. Yeah. Like, I think it's a big deal, but like literally, like 10,
it doesn't feel like a big
like
deal.
10 bands showed up.
Yeah, and every time they show something, there's only like 10 background characters.
Right. You know what could have been like a really cool Scooby Doo with a lot of music turned out to be like kind of maybe not as musical as it could have been. I'm just realizing. Jasper
Ridgway, who is like a band manager, who
may or may not be British. The jury is still out. I think that British flag says otherwise, but
I think he just likes British things. But Jasper was suspicious because he was lying about his whereabouts. He said he was in his tent, but he wasn't. He had access to stage makeup and costumes.
Just a slimy band manager.
He's pretty slimy. Yeah, he manages Bad Omens, who are there at the beginning, but then they get kidnapped.
We're kind of supposed to suspect him.
Yeah, we're really supposed to
suspect
suspect him.
He's the red herring.
The Bad Omens are supposed to be like, oh, there's 3 of them, so they could be the vampires. But then they get kidnapped. And apparently what they were doing was after they kidnapped people, they sent them on an all-expense trip to the Barrier Reef.
Yeah, Great Barrier Reef.
And they were just like, yeah, no, we'll leave this big, exciting festival
the most important one in the world, apparently. To go to the Great Barrier Reef.
My favorite part is that the villains in these movies always had like infinite money, so they really want to win this contest and get $250,000.
And they sent like 10 people to the Great fucking Barrier Reef.
10 people to the Barrier Reef. They had a giant fan. They had illusion stuff. They rock climbing equipment. They have to feed themselves for a year. They stayed in this mountain for a year to plan this thing.
That is not profit maximizing behavior.
Wild Wind is the band that went missing the year before. They lost the competition and then went up to Vampire Rock to go hiking or whatever, and they never came back.
Never came back after their loss. They got 3rd place, by the way. They never explained that, by the way. That they're like the best band. Everyone says they were the best band, but they got 3rd place.
Remember, Russell, who was one of them, kept saying they were the best.
I feel like the other guys said they were pretty good.
Oh yeah,
too.
Russell is the guy. Daniel's best friend. Daniel's best friend. He's only known him for like a year. No, he wasn't best friends. He was just partner.
He's partner.
Anyway, Russell was his partner, Daniel's partner for the festival, and he kept hyping up Wild Wind and saying they were the best band ever, the best performance, but they lost. But Russell was also he was a disguised member of Wild Wind. Honestly, he should act like he hates them if he wanted to throw people off his trail.
Yeah, he's like, they weren't very good.
But yeah, those were all the suspects. It turned out to be Wild Wind. They went up, how they did it. Wild Wind went up into Vampire Rock, stayed there for a year to plan how to trick people into thinking the vampire was real, so they could pull off this thing where they scare everybody away and then they win the competition, but then they remember that you can't be in the... They said this. They're like, but then we remembered you can't be in the competition the next year if you already were in it. Which, by the way, completely unnecessary.
This is
they
like...
could have just, like, not said that at the beginning of the movie and then they wouldn't have had
Exactly.
to say
It's like one of those things that makes you think that they made the movie sequentially and then just didn't plan afterwards. They're like, oh shit. They're like, they made the whole movie and they're like, oh shit, remember that? We said that earlier? Oh my god, we need to record over this right now and put that in there. Like, that's literally what happened. Like they made the transition with the music, like, 1 second shorter and then put that little quote in there. That's what it sounds like. Like, that's nonsense. They had to put that in.
But yeah, so then when they realized they couldn't just scare everyone away, they had to have a new band. So they made up the band, the Two Skinny Dudes. And one of them dressed up as this guy Russell and infiltrated the How did he get that job? He had no background experience.
Yeah.
He just got the job.
So we've never heard of you before. No one's ever talked about
so
you. We called your references and they said they've never heard of you.
It was the Two Skinny Dudes.
Yeah. Oh, he's great. Yeah. Oh my gosh! And how superfluous is the entire plot though? Because the big thing is that this band is like they go, oh man, we remembered now. We can't go in twice. Yeah. We can't do the same concert twice. We have to do
They could have just went to disguise. Like a different.
The whole thing is they wanted to get first place. They wanted to have a huge reveal and to be crazy. They didn't actually die. Now, instead of abducting every single band, wouldn't they have still gained a ton of popularity by just disguising as a different band, going up and then revealing them as them at the end, being like, "We didn't die. We were just hiding up there, and now we're a different band." But like, they had to have this whole thing where they abduct every.
They didn't even have to stay in the mountain. They had no reason to stay there. They could have just gone home for a year.
Yeah, they really didn't have any reason. Like, they act like a ton of work to set things up.
So just so we're clear, this took a lot of skill because they all knew how to rock climb. They happened to know how to use technician stuff like, holograms and smoke, and pulleys. All that costs money. Where'd they plug that fucking fan into? The rock?
Brought some electric. It brought some electricity in. Hey, where are we plugging that in? I got wires. Don't worry about it.
Let's plug it into it.
We can plug it in the sky. I've seen electricity, you fucking idiot. Who said that? Was that Jack? Was that Queen that said that? You guys are so stupid. Can't believe I brought you along.
So, no, it doesn't make sense how they did it, as usual. So I don't even know if we can fault them for that.
But they even know it doesn't make sense, because they were like, damn, we fucking forgot we couldn't go again. Oh my god.
Yeah, it was pretty... before we move on to the gang, though, I'd like to talk about the music in this movie. I think all Scooby Doo movies tend to have some pretty good music. In this, it had the return of, and apparently the last return of, the original Scooby Doo Where Are You intro that the gang then sings out at the end, which was pretty cool. But it actually is a really good song. What's the good song of this movie? Oh, Get Away. Get away, yeah. Get away, yeah.
Alright, that was me singing. We're gonna go ahead and play the YouTube video now. Whoa, get away now. Oh, pause that. Pause that YouTube video. That is not good. Yeah. Throw a picture of not good.
It's you.
Alright, pull it back down.
But yeah, Get Away, yeah. It sounded like it was supposed to be the Hex Girls. That was interesting. Hex Girls, they sing their Earth, Wind, Fire, and Air song for a second.
The beginning of that song is the best, so I don't think they sung the beginning.
They sung like a second of a different song before they got kidnapped.
Oh, We Do Voodoo, right?
Oh yeah, We Do Voodoo.
Who do voodoo? We do.
That's actually exactly what it is.
I'll sing it now. Turn off the YouTube video. I'll sing that.
Who do voodoo? We do voodoo. Who do voodoo? We do. Yeah, that's literally, they just sing that verse like 2 times and then they get kidnapped.
Edgy eco-goths.
Also a side note about the sound of this movie before we move on, and plus we're talking about the gang, is me and Charles both instantly recognized that most of the gang had changed this movie. So, the first 4 movies have Scott Innes as Shaggy, Mary Kay Bergman as Daphne, and B.J. Ward as Velma Dinkley. The only actor that actually stays the same throughout all of them is Frank Welker as Fred. He stays the same in these movies, I believe, all the way through. The straight-to-DVD movies, he's still doing Fred. But those were the actors we were getting used to in the beginning of the movie. In the first 4 movies. And then in this movie, it changes all the voices except for Fred. So we have Casey Kasman as Shaggy, Nicole Jaff as Velma, and Heather North as Daphne. From what the Wikipedia page tells me, these are the original actors from the 1960s for all the voices. But this movie, really, they wanted... I think they were baiting for a lot of nostalgia. Because along with, like, the original Where Are You, Scooby Doo song, back to the old voice actors, old outfits, and not to mention they brought back some of the old sound effects as well. Which also almost instantly recognizable as, like, we were like, oh shit, old Scooby-Doo sound. Like the thunderclap and shit like that.
Wait, I can't do it. Like I really can't do that sound. It's a different noise in my head. The one where it's like...
Oh, the record, like the record scratch when Shaggy and Scooby, like...
There's that one. There's also, like, you know, like the rubber balloon slapping one where it's like when they're running quickly and it's like, it sounds like bone hitting a bone, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, when their legs get like you know, like in a swirly pattern.
Yeah. That one.
Yeah, a bunch of the old good Hanna-Barbera sound effects. It was good. It was interesting. I liked it.
I think it was more just they were testing the waters, I think, with this movie.
Yeah,
this was
definitely
felt
like a big test.
It was like, how popular was our old stuff? People prefer this. Should we go back the other way? And it seems like, was this successful at all?
They changed after this. This movie...
I thought you said they did like 6 movies like this after this.
No, they kept it in the What's New style, but they changed to their new outfits, like I told you. And I think they might have changed the voice actors later on. Again, this is the last one that they had the...
Does it say box office here? No.
No, because these are straight to DVD movies.
Oh, sorry. Does it say sales then? But no, I don't think it does.
I wanted to see actually how much the movie cost to make, but they didn't have it on here.
How much it cost? Oh, like cost of production?
Yeah, especially compared to like one of the first 4, because the first 4 were like the most expensive.
I think there's actually probably no way of knowing. You'd have to probably literally ask the company.
No, we know for quite a few movies.
Yeah, but this one, because
this one
they're probably privately owned at this point, right? I doubt they are, unless they're a public company.
Anyway, so voice actors changed. I personally didn't like the new old voice actors they used in this movie. I like the current voice cast they're using in the Scooby Doo movies. Frank Welker still as Fred Jones. But now we have Matthew Lillard as Shaggy Rogers, Gray Griffin as Daphne Blake, and of course Kate Micucci as Velma Dinkley. I think, you know, maybe I'm very biased, but I think these are all just very solid voice actors for all of the characters, and I really enjoy them modern day.
Daphne said Jeepers in this one as well.
Jeepers! Yeah, that's her voice. That's her line.
I didn't know she said that.
Yeah, she says Jeepers. She says
Jeepers.
Jinkies. Shaggy says Zoinks. And Fred actually, he does have a catchphrase. I always forget it, but he said it in this movie.
Yep.
Oh! Works for me.
Yep, that's the one.
He said it in like all 4 of the first movies too.
Yep.
But yeah.
What a dumb catchphrase.
Yeah, no.
Who gave him that? They really did Fred so dirty, man.
Fred's very boring. Until the later movies.
And he's the most interesting.
No, they all just get more interesting, including Fred. Fred gets a lot more personality and did a lot more things. He's so much better later on. Speaking of, let's talk about the gang. So, part of my complaints about the What's New Scooby-Doo era of movies is I feel like it strips the characters of a lot of their personality, and I don't feel like it gives them a lot of, like, they have lines between each other, but they don't feel like the chemistry's not there.
There was the one scene where Fred tried to look strong in the beginning.
Yeah, a bunch of 2 really strong guys go
4, I think, at one point.
Really strong guys go over to hit on Daphne, who's, like, living it up. She's like, yes, I am beautiful. Thank you for admiring me. I am Aphrodite. And
young
Fred...
Venice of Urbino.
And Fred, like, his face gets red while he's trying to puff up and be muscular, and then he just gives up, and he's like,
He liked barbecuing. But that is about the extent of the character they give them this time. Yeah. They do feel rather cardboardy. Trying to think of another more expressive moments. Perhaps at the end when Velma's accusing people.
Velma did something really dumb in this movie. What was it?
A lot of things.
She did a lot. Like, she just kept saying, like, obvious things.
Yeah, Velma's lines were all terrible. This movie.
Yeah, they were all really
She
bad.
actually was so boring, and she just like they took away all like maybe like the intelligent like wit and like kind of just like playfulness and made her just like a boring nerd. Doesn't say anything interesting.
They had a film camera, but also a laptop, which I found very interesting.
She likes photos. They added that to her little personality
she had
quirk.
photos?
She likes photos now. She was like taking photos of everything.
Well,
She was like, I got eight rolls here.
Yeah, she said she
We're
had like
taking some photos.
a lot of film.
I
like when they're just on vacation and there's no mystery.
feel like there was a vacation in the movies. See, I feel like
No.
because I feel like it's implied that like the series is like their career and they're always doing something extra and they're like, oh, this is our movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Shaggy and Scooby had. Man, what the fuck did those guys do?
Click clack.
They just ran into things and screamed. They had a long bit with the vampires where they were running away from them. They trapped him in like a Italian restaurant, gave him garlic.
And didn't care.
Yeah.
I remember that scene when I was younger, and I remember not getting it.
Yeah.
I was just like, why did they think feeding him spaghetti would work? Like,
Yeah.
that's all I thought.
And then they like locked them in tanning booths. Very dangerous.
Very, extremely dangerous. And for no reason, because no one was around them. They got out of the tanning booths looking like vampires, even though they aren't vampires, as we now know.
Yeah, they were just they were committed to the character.
Yeah,
they're actors. They're creatives.
Was it method acting?
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
method actors. I'm really honestly trying to rack my brain thinking of more moments where they were expressive of some type of character, not just saying obvious things.
Yeah, there was. Oh my gosh, I remember my biggest complaint while we were watching the movie.
Oh, Velma sings.
Velma sings. She likes singing, but she has stage fright. But she sings, and she sings well.
Right.
That was a good part of the movie. That was probably like one of the best parts of the movie is the ending where they're all singing in their outfits. When they sing, they all get new outfits, and everyone but Velma gets such good outfits. Fucking Shaggy and Fred. Look at them. Look at them. They're great. They're fantastic. Shaggy's got earrings. He's got this bucket hat.
What they should do? They should make like, so you know how like Superman is like, at this point they have like 900 comics of Superman.
So many more
Where-
than that.
You know, but I mean like
Yeah.
not the comics. I mean the universes.
Yeah.
They have like, what if he was evil? What if he landed over here instead?
Yeah.
What if he landed in the USSR? Well, they did that with Scooby Doo, but they have like all these different universes now, parallel universes. They have ones where the gang like canonically still wears 60s clothing.
Yep.
And they have like the one where like
Oh no, I would love this. Like you remember that Power Rangers Red movie where they just had all the Power Rangers in one movie? It'd be like that.
You watch Power Rangers?
I used to.
Are you a child?
I have a mix CD with 20 of the theme songs on it.
Anyway,
Power Rangers Overdrive is number 8.
back to my good
It's the
idea.
best one. 5 Rangers searching for the same 5 stones. Go Rangers, go Rangers, go, go, go.
that song.
Power Rangers, Operation Overdrive.
Unfortunately, I have had to hear this play from the kitchen.
Power Rangers. Okay.
Yeah, quite a lot. Anyway, that'd be funny.
I agree. I'd be down for that.
And then you have like, I was transitioning from that into being like, what if they had a rock band version of them, where they always wore these outfits, and they were also solving mysteries.
That version of them would be cool, and it's also be a cool callback because originally, like, they were supposed to be a band. There was like 4 shows like this, and like 2 or 3 of them they were like bands instead of just mysteries.
They had crossovers too, right?
Yeah, bands were really big. Then they had Josie and the Pussycats.
Right, that's what I'm thinking of.
Jem and the Holograms. They were
vaguely.
Yeah, shit like that. They
were supposed to be a band. What do you mean?
A band.
They were a band originally?
Archie. They were supposed to be like they were supposed to be like a new Archie. They wanted it to be as popular and as.
But were they actually ever a band?
No, I think it was just a concept.
Because see, I think the coolest part about comic books is that they do that.
What?
That they make a bunch of different versions. Like
yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. They'll drag on like the whatever they are, the certain universes forever. But like it's cool they aren't just like, let's just do this one thing forever. And
yeah, I hate
they're like, let's start over. Like, what if this happened instead? And they make a new one.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, that's how it
fascinating.
feels when you watch this. That's kind of why I love the straight to DVD movies because it kind of feels like that. Like everyone adds their own little twist, their own little whatever on the universe. Sometimes they're young adults. Sometimes they're actually teenagers and they reference high school. Sometimes they're on summer vacation.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's cool. In the new there's like comics of Scooby Doo where there were Scooby Doo Apocalypse and the new show that HBO Max is making for Velma, I believe, it's just completely like
just
new
Velma.
It's just Velma. It's like her background, but it's like a different universe. It's probably gonna be gritty because it's
Background.
HBO. Huh?
Her new background.
Yeah.
She just likes books.
But yeah, the gang as a whole, this movie, not very exciting. Tons of exposition. They don't really bring anything to the table themselves. It's very entertaining. A few good Scooby gags, like when he's running away from the crocodile.
Fred's hair is far too yellow.
Oh yeah, the new color palettes, very bright, very candy.
I don't mind that so much as I mind just
very
Fred's,
yellow.
Just
Fred's
hair.
Very yellow
it's
hair.
obviously not blonde anymore. Now it's just yellow.
I think I don't think it ever comes back to its pale blonde. I think it stays pretty yellow for the rest of the time.
They've gone too far.
Now, moving on to our ratings for the movie out of 10 graham cracker Scooby snacks. Charles, what would you rate this movie?
Because of stale characters, nonsensical plot, kind of like the double twist with the masks. I don't know, that's kind of always a little cheesy. I'm going to give this one a 5 out of 10.
Because I found the characters very stale.
Hey, whoa, I said that.
I know.
Are you going to put this in front of mine?
They were super stale.
Are you going to put this in front of mine so it looks like you said it first?
No. But also because the Hex Girls were in this. But also I didn't like how anyone sounded or looked. But I liked the callbacks to the original Scooby Doo. I'm going to go ahead and give this 4 out of 10. I really didn't enjoy it that much. Too much exposition for me. I don't really feel like it did anything too special except for like the double mask thing. And just, Scooby-Doo plots and resolutions have like a lot of plot holes, but this one really was pretty out there. It was alien invaders out there. So I'm going to rate it 4 graham cracker Scooby snacks out of 10. Alright, everybody, this has been Coffee with Cartoons, my older brother Charles on a Scoob of Coffee podcast. Charles, do you have any parting words for the audience?
I don't.
Let us know what you thought of Scooby-Doo and the Legend of the Vampire. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Would you rate it out of 10? Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and hey, I hope you have a great day.